or people have passed on. And so I'd like to invite everyone in the room, if we could just share in a quick moment of silence for those who may not have the most wonderful time during this time of year, and we recognize those who have passed on. So may I invite you to share with me a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. So I would like to, at this time, introduce the Still I Rise Board of Directors. And wherever you all are, if you could please wave or stand if you're sitting and let everyone know who you are. Let's start with the Executive Director, Ms. Takara Eldridge Robinson. The Operations Manager, Aaron Robinson. The Treasurer, Laverne Gardner. The Secretary, Mozella Malone. Marketing and Public Relations Manager, Perlene Mason. And again, another reminder is that there are health screenings in the back. They'll be available throughout the event, so please make sure that you get those vitals checked. This is wellness for the holidays, so we want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. There are raffles going on. All of the raffle proceeds that happen at today's event will go to the Still I Rise programming, and they help keep events like today in the community. It is very, very important that we have these type of events where we're informing the community about things that can be done to take care of themselves during the holiday season and to provide services such as we will talk about later. Some of the raffles are, we've got Kankakee Community College variety baskets. They're valued at $60 each. So we've got some things, this isn't cheap stuff, okay? Olive Garden, $5 off coupons. We've got some Classic Cinema movie passes. Now, I used to work for Classic Cinemas way back when. I worked at the Meadowview Movie Theater, so be sure to support Classic Cinemas. Olive Garden, there's some free kids' meals coupons there. The Kankakee County and Visitors Bureau gave a variety basket, so we thank them for that. And there are some free buffet meals from the Coyote Canyon as part of our raffles. We also have $10 raffles, Christmas baskets that are filled with a Walmart gift card and some food items, $30 values each. There are 2 of those, so we're thankful for those raffles. Please be sure to purchase some raffle tickets from a member of the Still I Rise team. They will be circulating. If you want to purchase a ticket, be sure to let them know you can visit the table that you registered at when you came in, and they'll be happy to help you purchase a raffle ticket. So, at this time, I would like to introduce an individual to give us some opening remarks. This individual was recently elected it's been a year and some change now, right? Since April, okay. I'm giving him more time. Okay, recently elected in April as the 6th Ward Alderman. Those of you who live in the 6th Ward, you know him as the mailman. And would like to welcome a wonderful human being, a wonderful leader in our community, Alderman of the 6th Ward, Mr. Mike Cobbs.
Y'all here? Good. One of the preferences I had for coming to do this was I don't want to follow Jay Lee. He speaks too well. But in April of this year, I was elected as the Alderman of the 6th Ward for the city of Kankakee. And I realized at that time during my campaign some of the things that Kankakee has done to be healthy. And I realized also that we need not only be healthy through the holidays, but healthy throughout the year and try and create a healthy lifestyle. Kankakee since has added bike lanes to the city of downtown Kankakee. We also, years prior to that, we have a bridge across behind Riverside. Is also a bike bridge that goes behind the YMCA to a nice little park. So the city of Kankakee promotes a very healthy lifestyle. Let me regress. First of all, I would like to thank the executives, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, for always thinking of me, enough of me to come and say a few words to help support people who help support the community. And I really appreciate that, and I can't thank them enough. I'm also, our speaker, another one of our speakers is on his way here. He happened to be my brother-in-law, Dr. Alford. So be patient. We had a few things that he had to take care of, but he will be here. So you'll have somebody who knows a little bit more about health than me. As Jake Lee said, for the last 35 years, I lived a pretty healthy lifestyle. Maybe not by choice, but by my work. So I was a letter carrier in the city of Kankakee for over 35 years, and I really liked that job. And I got my exercise in and got paid for it. So I've since retired, and when I retired, I ran for office. And I ran because I was really going to run for retirement. But the relationships that I had established in the city of Kankakee, they wouldn't let me do anything else. So I ran for them, and they elected me in the city of Kankakee. During my campaign, I realized that I had to be responsible for not only the people of the 6th Ward, but the environment. We're very fortunate enough in this city of Kankakee to be near, less than a half a mile from any park, which promotes recreational use and a healthy lifestyle. Being that the case in the 6th Ward, there were 2 parks. NICOR had came through and wanted to update the gas lines. They wanted to go right through Cobbs Park, not named after me, and tear down 100-year-old trees. Being from an urban area, I didn't know a lot about trees. They give shade, they grow, birds live in them, so I had to do a little more research on it. And it helped me to learn how important that the greenery, trees in particular, are important to our environment. They also produce oxygen. They also protect from pollen. They also help with the birds that migrate here back and forth. So our responsibility to a healthy lifestyle is not only within ourselves, but I also learned that it's within our environment. I had to do some research on trees to learn that, you know, but one thing I did know about trees, man, they look good in the park. But I found out how important they are to our healthy lifestyle. As I said before, so when I retired from the post office, and I didn't have to work and exercise at the same time, I had to start focusing on my health a little more. I gained 35 pounds. And I'm like, wow, my whole wardrobe had changed. What am I going to do? So I started taking advantage of the opportunities that this city had already promoted. You know, I would ride from my house in Riverview to the state park. It's about 17 miles. And it wasn't easy because I wasn't promoting a healthy lifestyle. I'm very fortunate to have had that opportunity, and I'm very fortunate to have my brother-in-law. Anytime I get some health problems, I can just give him a call on the cell phone, and 99.9% of the time he's answering. He's not busy. I realize that we are probably speaking out of order. I was going to make the final remarks, but being the Alderman of the city of Kankakee, I'm willing to answer any questions that you might have concerning the city. Take into consideration that I don't have all the answers, and I've only been elected since April. So with that being said, is it okay that I take questions? I have none. So, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
This question is something for the kids, for activities, for water park. Why isn't that water park open? Have you such on that?
Well, I'm not a member of the park district, but I am aware that they did ribbon cutting on the she asked about the water park, for those of you who couldn't hear her. I am aware that they did a ribbon cutting, and I would make the assumption that it should be open this summer.
Which one?
The one out there in River Road, huh?
I'm talking about the one in Bird Park.
Oh, you know what?
I know about the one in River Valley.
I do, okay. Okay, hold on, we're gonna get you a microphone so everybody can answer, so everybody can hear you. Your mouth ain't big as mine.
Yes, I'm gonna repeat the question. The question was, for the summertime for the youth, kids, the youth, bird park, the splash water park that they have out there. I was concerned about it being open for the kids during the summer.
This is one, although that's a park district question, I haven't heard anything about it. I'm making a note. I will be speaking with somebody in the park district concerning that matter. If you would leave your information with the executive director, but still all right, I promise you I'll give you a call and have an answer to your question.
Thank you, thank you. Next.
Hello.
Hey.
This question is for my mom. She lives on a street where there's on the signs where when it's snowing that you can't park on that side of the street, and residents still park there. And she was just wondering, do the city do anything about it, or they just go around the cars and just leave them?
Okay, to my knowledge, I can't hear myself. Okay, there we go. To my knowledge, they should be ticketing, and they're going to be a lot more aggressive this year with the snow routes in the city of Kankakee.
Okay.
And I would assume that's Nelson.
No, she live on Greenwood, North Greenwood.
Now you all have your contact information, and I'll get back to you with a
Okay.
definite answer.
Okay, thanks.
Well, the parks I'm looking at is the one down on King, right there by King School coming down Merchant. I don't
Is
see.
that old? No.
Well, yeah, what's up with that park? 'Cause, yeah, Maple,
Yeah, when he took on those apartment building?
yeah, no, it's, all I see is a parking lot, and I don't know what's going on with that park.
Yeah, well, I think they got a little walking trail there. I'm checking into that because somebody else brought that to my attention, and I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think if we're gonna promote a healthy lifestyle, these parks are very important to our recreation, and our recreation is very important to our health. So these are important questions that we need to get answered. I'm not a member of the park district, but I will be speaking with them very soon. Yes, I do. Not with me, but you can get that information from the Kankakee County Visitors Board. She asked about the bike trails in Kankakee, and there are plenty. And a few of them I know off the top of my head, which is the one that I spoke about, and then there's one behind the water company. But there are bike trails throughout the county. I am aware that, with a little street riding, we could go all the way from behind the Y to Joliet, I think.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I'm not from here. My wife is from here in the area. I was just asking a question in general. Is there a plan to bring like any more entertainment to the area, for people that want to do things like on the weekend, other than just go to a park, like arcades, and, pool halls or whatever, just something more entertaining to the area, because it is a pretty big city, but, I'm pretty sure people would love to be more entertained on the weekend, have places to go other than to, to the usual places, that's in town, because I stay in Orlando, Florida, and that's the home of everything. So I see a lot of the ways that they build around us to keep us entertained, like, in the inner city, like, all the cities are built the same. So you live in a certain place, you got entertainment not too far from you. So I was wondering, is there a plan or a budget or anything for you guys to add more entertainment to the city around, for people, to enjoy themselves on the weekend,
One question at a time. And my answer to you is absolutely there is plans right now today to bring more entertainment to the city of Kankakee. As you know, we have a river here, and we are in the process of building a river walk, which will produce entertainment along with recreation. We have purchased certain homes in that area. There's been demolition right here on River Street, right off Washington, and we intend to come further. So as you know, we do a Merchant Street Music Fest every year. But the riverfront is going to be something that I'm personally excited about. So I'm kind of glad you asked that question. I, in my opinion, having only been elected for it since April, I'm excited about the progress that this city is making. And I'm excited about the plans that we have moving forward. Any more questions? With that being said, I have to say in all honesty that we are in a very unique position. We have our first African-American mayor. And I realize that there are some things that people may not agree with her personality. But as I answer that gentleman's questions, I'm excited about the direction that this city is presently going in. Under the present administration, from my point of view, as somebody who lived here and now represent a particular ward in this city, I've never seen so much progress. So when that was the question I was looking at. I'll get your park district questions answered, trust me. But I already had an answer to his question. I look forward to this city being something that we've never seen before. Under this present administration, she's smart. And I'm not here to campaign for the mayor. I'm just telling you my point of view. She's smart. She has a lot of networks that are assisting her in building this city that each and every one of us can be proud of. With that, I saw my brother-in-law walk in the room, the doctor. We're going to continue. He's going to continue to speak on promoting a healthy lifestyle. I don't be able to say anything about that fried chicken I had the other day. But without further ado, I'm going to take it back to Chief.
Thank you, Alderman.
Thank you.
I always have to adjust the mic. Everyone's taller than I am. Okay, so are we ready for some raffles?
Yeah.
Oh, don't sound ready. This is stuff. Okay, very good. Well, we are going to draw. I guess we're going Classic Cinemas and Olive Garden, KCC. Coyote Canyon, so let's start there. Are you two ladies going to help assist me? Okay, who's going to draw? You're going to draw the names? All right, all right. So this first one, let's get your tickets ready, is going to be the Classic Cinemas movie passes. Let's see. Christopher Williams, where are you? All right. So we've got, so let's do the Olive Garden, $5 off. Congratulations, Christopher. So we've got Olive Garden, this is $5 off for a meal at the Italiano place. So Joanna Williams. Janae Williams? Oh, okay. Janae Williams. Oh, okay. Okay, that's obviously the lucky corner back there. So if you need blood pressure screenings, health screenings, you might want to get back there, and maybe your ticket will be called next. Okay. So we've got a, now this is going to be a good one. Kankakee Community College, KCC, their variety basket. This is a $60 value. And we've got Jackie Alford. All right. Congratulations. KCC variety basket. That looks like a nice bag in there too. Very nice. Okay. How about, let's see, how about Olive Garden's, so this is for a free kids meal at Olive Garden. So it looks like it's, and forgive me if I butcher this, Rokisha Cook. Was that right? Rokisha Cook? Oh, are you there? All right, congratulations. This is a kids meal coupon at the Olive Garden. Congratulations. And so we got a raffle for Coyote Canyon. This is a buffet meal for 2. Jessica Cruz. All right, Jessica, come on down. You're the next contestant to get your Coyote Canyon. Well, thank you very much. There will be more raffles to come. And thank you, wonderful ladies, for helping out. All right. So, we are moving right along. I'm one of those folks, so I'm an auditor, so I believe in timeliness and all of that. So we are doing very well on time. I was asked to share a few comments because I do serve you as an elected official. So at this time, I'd like to share with you just a few key things that may have happened as to how I arrived here today, and just to kind of give you an idea of who I am. So, as I said before, those of you who don't know me, I'm Jake Lee. I actually grew up on the east side of the county in Hopkins Park, Illinois. That is where my family's from. Some folks may be familiar with my dad. He was a basketball player from the 70s and played with Jack Sikma, Michael Lehman, and all those guys back then. And I grew up on a Gamble Road, for those people who know Hopkins Park, and we used to live on a hill. And I often tell the story about how my life actually started out with a pretty horrific accident that was probably the single most important reason I'm here today. Story goes that it was Mother's Day weekend, and so it was in the spring, and we had a lot of these vehicles that didn't work. We were supposed to pretend that we were driving in vehicles that didn't work, but my middle brother and I decided to get in a vehicle that actually did work. You can almost guess where the story's about to go. So we're tussling about in the van, and the transmission ends up getting engaged. Now, my brother is 3 years older than me and much bigger than I am. He jumps out of the van and he runs around to the back of the van and attempts to pull it back up the hill. Unsuccessfully, obviously. I, on the other hand, I fell out of the van. I hit that metal step on the driver's side and began to tumble down the hill. Well, it just so happened there were torrential downpours a few days prior to this, and it washed little trenches down the sides of our gravel driveway. And so, as I tumbled down the hill, when I came to rest, my head came to rest in one of these trenches that was created for me. Unfortunately, there was a very large van coming right behind me, and that van came and ran right over my head. Thankfully, I was in the trench, so it didn't crush my head. Otherwise, my ghost would be speaking to you today. I guess I'd be the ghost of Christmas past. So anyway, from that accident, I ended up with a bruise on the brain. I had 2.5 gallons of bile from the lacerated liver from falling and hitting that metal step that they drained out of my system. I ended up with 33, between Riverside and Stroger, or it was Cook County then, hospital, 33 days in the hospital, 2 surgeries, and a removed appendix to boot, before being able to come home. And I say all that to say that that accident was, albeit bad, was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, or at least my mother, because they said that I had a birth defect that went undetected, and had it not been for that accident, it would not have been discovered, and it would have killed me when I was about 12 or 13 years old. So I say that to say that had it not been for that particular bad event, I would not be standing before you today. I would have never served in the military. I would have never been a first-generation college graduate, first one in my family to earn advanced degrees, and I would have never become the first African-American countywide elected official in Kankakee County. So we are really blessed today, and we are grateful to be able to celebrate this season and think about wellness and think about not running yourself over. Think about being safe during this holiday season. In the auditor's office, we're responsible for looking out for your tax dollars countywide. And so when it comes to public safety, the state's attorney, in this country we have free elections. Those elections are funded through tax dollars. So the county clerk's office, we ensure that that money that we collect is appropriately spent. Now there are times in which it is inappropriately spent, and so we stand on your behalf and we say that this is not appropriate. There are some folks who've had to pay the county money back because they spent public dollars for personal use. And that is not appropriate, that is not allowable, and so it's our job to make sure we identify those things and we correct them when they happen. So we are very glad to serve you as your county auditor, and not as a plug for myself, but please remember there is a primary election in March 17th of 2020, and there is a general election in November of 2020. Please, please, please get out and vote. Our vote is our voice, and we need you to get out and vote. So March 17th is the primary, November is the general. So please get out and vote. If you're not registered, please visit the county clerk's office, 189 East Court Street, and they will be more than happy to get you registered to vote for the March primary. So with that, we've got more raffles to draw. So are my two lovely ladies ready to assist again? So we are going to start out with, why don't we start out with Olive Garden? Let's do a $5 off coupon for Olive Garden. I hope you've been getting your raffle tickets because that's the only way you win. You buy raffle tickets. So, who do we have here? Yates! That's all we have is Yates. So I'm assuming that's a last name. Oh, the Major! You got $5 off!
That'll work. I can appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Major. All right. So we've got some more classic cinemas. So do we have more classic cinemas over there? All right, let's have one of those. Classic Cinemas, Movie Pass, so these are complimentary movie passes for Classic Cinemas. So that's the Paramount or the Meadowview Theater. And who do we have? Brian Freeman. Where are you at, Brian? All right, very good. Congratulations. The Meadowview Movie Theater or the Paramount, Classic Cinemas. And I just went to see Midway at the Paramount, and it was phenomenal. I'm a Navy guy, so I love stuff like that. Let's see, why don't we try one of those kids, Olive Garden? I mean, okay, we got a couple left. All right, so we're going to try one of those. Who's going to draw that name? Mike Cobbs, our Alderman. All right, congratulations, sir. So those are kids' meals at Olive Garden. So kids, grandkids, all that stuff. It's not for you. I think you're past that age. All right, so the Kankakee County Convention Visitors Bureau, they've got something. I think it's that one in the back here. The black one there. Right there. Yeah, that's it. So we've got a gift basket here for the KCCVB, the Kankakee County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Okay, who do we have? Jemiah Self. Oh, what's Self? Is that your name? Your last name? Self? Okay, very good. All right. Very good, Jemiah. So, let's give it up for Jemiah. Okay. Thank you, ladies. That's it for now. Thank you. Well, I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Are you enjoying yourselves this Saturday morning? Thank you once again for taking the time to be with us today. And let me mention as well, this is the 6th annual Larry Williams Healthy for the Holidays event. We are very grateful for the late Larry Williams and his leadership in this area and bringing the community together for such an event as this, where we talk about wellness, mind, body, and soul for the holiday season. At this time, let's see, we've done our raffle. We're going well on time, so we'll have plenty of time for Dr. Alford once he's ready to come up. We've got Dr. Naomii Brack. Are you here? Where are you at? Dr. Brack, are you here? Oh, there you are. Okay, all right. So, Dr. Brack is a professor of criminal justice. She holds a PhD in human services with a specialization in criminal justice, a master's degree in administration of criminal justice, and her undergraduate degree is of the same discipline. She's a native of the south suburbs in Chicago, Illinois, and specializes in the victimization of vulnerable citizens in black communities, past and present. I don't know if there's a more appropriate subject at a more appropriate time. So at this time, we'd like to introduce to some and present to others Dr. Brack. So please, Dr. Brack, if you would, let's do the rest of the time. Thank you.
That's up on Court Street, man. Yeah, right across the hill.
Hello, everyone. I would like to make a correction. I was born and raised here in Kankakee, and I'm a graduate of Western High School, class of 1979. I'm not here this morning to talk to you about crime. I am a criminologist, but I'm not here this morning to talk to you about crime. I'm here to talk to you about a disease called lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease, which is the body's immune system mistakenly attacks its own healthy tissues, causing damage to joints, skin, kidneys, tissues, blood, heart, lungs, your nervous system, and can affect other organs. Lupus affects more than 5 million people worldwide. 1.5 million Americans have lupus. No two cases of lupus are the same. Lupus, not contagious. Lupus is very rare in babies and children up to the age of 13. Lupus is common in young adults ages 19 to 40, and also adults ages 41 to 60 plus. It is also very common in women who are 15 to 45. Women are 9 times more likely than men to develop lupus. Lupus affecting men is rare. Over 90% of the people with lupus are women between the ages of 15 and 45. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian American, and Native American women are more likely to develop lupus. Lupus is a lifelong disease. Historically, lupus caused people to die young, primarily from kidney disease failure. Today, with careful treatment, 80 to 90% of people with lupus can expect to live a normal life. The cause of lupus is unknown. Some scientists believe it could be caused by factors of hormones, genetics, and the environment. Having a family history of lupus means that you are at greater risk. There are 4 types of lupus. Systemic lupus, which is also known as SLE, is the most common. Cutaneous lupus is limited to the skin. Drug-induced lupus can be caused by certain prescription drugs and have symptoms of systemic lupus, but rarely affect the organs and usually disappears when one stops taking the prescription drug. And neonatal lupus, it affects babies of women who have lupus. It affects the baby's skin and usually subsides by itself without treatment. Lupus manifests itself in a variety of ways. It's often hard to tell just what it is and isn't. Some of the common symptoms of lupus include achy, and swollen joints, unexplained high fever, swollen joints, prolonged and extreme fatigue, skin rash including butterfly-shaped rash across the cheek and nose, pain in the chest when breathing deeply, hair loss, sensitivity to sun and other light, mouth and nose sores, pale and purple fingers, toes from cold and stress. The symptoms can vary depending on the individual. They may be permanent, they may disappear suddenly, or they may flare up occasionally. No one test can diagnose lupus. The combination of blood and urine tests, signs and symptoms, and physical examination findings lead to the diagnosis. Remember that lupus can be hard to diagnose because it has many symptoms of other diseases. Rheumatologists are the doctors who specialize in treating the disease of lupus. Some of the medication that is commonly used in lupus is anti-inflammatory drugs, anti-malaria drugs, which is Plaquenil, and that's used most common, and also cortisone steroids, which is prednisone, and immunosuppressants and biological drugs. A person with lupus may experience an unpredictable attack, and that attack is called a lupus flare. A lupus flare is a medical increase in the disease activity in one or more organs. When a lupus flare is triggered, a person can experience a variety of symptoms, including painful swollen joints, seizures, stroke, weakness and numbness in the hand, arms, feet, facial rash, lesions, depression, joint stiffness, weight loss, and appetite loss. Flares can get worse, or flares can go into remission when the symptoms get better and disappear. Many of you probably know someone who has lupus. I have lupus. I have SLE lupus. And I want to tell you just a short story of my truths and my testimonies of my life seasons with lupus. In the Bible, Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, to every season, there is a time to every purpose under the heaven. First, I want you to know that I am a Christian. I have a strong faith in the true and living God. I also believe in the power of prayer. I believe in miracles. And everything that has happened to me is in God's plan. And on this morning, if you believe in miracles, clap your hands. During my childhood, my teen years, and my young adulthood, I wasn't the healthiest person. And sometimes I experienced joint pain, swelling, fatigue. I was always cold. But I was active and ignored the issues because they would come and they would go. In 1989, my life season changed forever. My health began to fail. My heart was beating rapidly. I experienced vomiting, rapid weight loss, loss of appetite, insomnia, and extreme fatigue and high fever almost on a daily basis. After lab tests, my doctor diagnosed me with Graves' disease. Graves' disease is an overactive thyroid. But something else was going on, and he didn't know what it was. After seeing 6 more different specialists, no one knew what was going on. They could not find out what was going on with my health. Then the news came. Whatever was going on with my health, the doctors had come to the conclusion, besides my overactive thyroid, something else was making my organs function fast. And they gave me 10 years to live. They told me by the age of 38, I would be dead. But 30 years later, I'm still here. A miracle. Nevertheless, There was one more specialist he wanted me to see after that bad news, because I had fluid on my lungs. By the time I went to this specialist, my lungs were full with fluid. I could hardly breathe, and my walking had slowed down to almost a crawl. The specialist removed the fluid from my lungs immediately. And in a couple of days, I started feeling better. By the time I went back for a follow-up with that specialist, which was 7 days later, my lungs had filled back up with fluid. The specialist removed the fluid from my lungs again and told me he couldn't understand what was going on with my health. But he knew someone that probably would know what was going on with my health. And he sent me to a specialist. She was a female, and she specialized in autoimmune disease for minority women. In 2 days, I went to see that specialist. She reviewed my medical records, she examined me, and she sat me down, and she told me that she believed it was one or two things: sarcoidosis or lupus. When she told me that it was lupus, I was broken. This is hard for me.
That's all right.
I told her I had an aunt, my father's sister, who had lupus and had passed away from kidney complications from lupus. And right there in her office, I began to cry. I let her know that the doctors had told her that one of her children, there was a possibility that one of her children would be diagnosed with lupus and not a niece. And the doctor told me there had been some studies where different family members of the same family had developed lupus. After the test came back, it was lupus, and I started the medication therapy right away. But I still had that overactive thyroid. My life season went forward, and in the years of 1990 to 1999, I was working in the downtown Chicago private law firm, still being treated and having lupus flares. I was additionally diagnosed and treated for several other diseases. I had surgery for several non-cancerous tumors. I had 3 rounds of radioactive iodine treatment, which is radiation treatment, to totally destroy my overactive thyroid, because the medication that they were giving me was not working. After the radiation treatment, my gallbladder had to be removed because my gallbladder had got infected from the radiation treatment. I also had to have several blood transfusions because I was suffering from severe anemia. Keep in mind that every year from 1989 to 1999, I had a hospital stay for 5 days or more. But after every surgery, after every treatment, God would raise me back up so that my life was back to a functioning state. That was a miracle. And in 1999, my dad passed away. During the season of my life, from 2000 to 2005, still being treated for lupus, still having severe flare-ups, I was diagnosed with secondary diseases to lupus. I had Sjogren's syndrome, which included dry eyes, dry mouth, difficulty swallowing. I also had Raynaud's disease, which my toes, my fingers, the tip of my nose, my ears, again, they feel numb during the cold temperature and in stress. I also was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. During this season, at one point, I was taking 29 different medications on a daily basis. But none of it was pain medication. God had given me the strength and a high tolerance rate for pain. That was a miracle. During my life seasons of the years of 2006 to 2009, it was the worst season of my life. And at the beginning of 2006, I enrolled and started studying for my doctorate degree. 4 months into the program, I had a serious flare-up. I was hospitalized for almost 2 weeks. After rehabbing at home, I went back to work and went back to school. 4 months later, I had another serious flare-up. This time, I was off for work for 6 weeks, but was still able to attend online classes due to a break in the school quarters. Once again, after the flare-ups, God blessed me to have my active life again. That was a miracle. At the end of 2006, the attorneys that I was working with decided to move the firm and merge with a bigger firm that was not established in Chicago, and a brand new office had to be opened and set up. And I was responsible for making sure that everything and the transaction was correct. That being said, I was working approximately 60 hours per week, and most days without taking a lunch break. After 3 months into the new year, 2007, we were up and running. Then the worst lupus flare of my life happened. A week or so before it happened, I was not feeling well, I was not eating properly, and I had a slight fall. And when I told my older sister Peggy that I wasn't feeling well, she asked me did I think a lupus flare was coming. And I told her no, and I just kept working all those hours. And unexpectedly, one evening after I got home from work, the pain was so horrific, I called her and asked her to come and take me to the emergency care and use a key to get into my home because I was too weak and the pain was too much and I couldn't make it to the door. By the time she got there, I was having a seizure. She called emergency and I was taken to the hospital. When I came to, I had all kinds of tubes in me. I was strapped down to my bed and I was hooked up to a machine and my two sisters were standing over me. I couldn't understand what happened and I didn't even remember what had happened. Moving forward, I was hospitalized approximately 1 month. This time, besides the excruciating pain, the lupus had affected my kidneys. I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. My kidneys were still functioning. I also had several blood transfusions during this stage, and there were other complications. I couldn't do anything for myself. I was unable to move, and when the hospital released me to a nursing home facility, I was told that I would never be able to care for myself again. I would never live by myself again, and there was a slim chance that I would never walk again. And the doctors told my family that I wouldn't survive. During the time of my first nursing facility, I was there approximately 1 week. My kidneys totally shut down. I was rushed back to the hospital, and I had to be put on dialysis. I stayed in the hospital approximately 4 weeks. By this time, I weighed 72 pounds. I didn't have an appetite, could hardly swallow, needed another blood transfusion, and had to have a G-tube, which is a feeding tube, placed in my stomach in order to survive. Thereafter, I was moved to a different nursing home, which I ended up staying 17 and a half months. My lupus was very active, and I was the first resident in that nursing facility that had lupus. I was there with active lupus, weighing 72 pounds, on dialysis, couldn't move my lower body, couldn't walk, couldn't even roll myself over. and I couldn't even feed myself because I was on a feeding tube. And there were several other complications that I had. I also had 7 or 8 blood transfusions. My life that I knew it was over. Later in the season of 2007, my kidneys began to function again. I didn't need a kidney transplant. I woke up one morning and my kidneys was functioning as normal. That was a miracle. I no longer needed dialysis, but I still had other complications. In 2018, I was put on death row at the nursing facility. There was an outbreak of MRSA. MRSA is a staph bacterial infection. MRSA is very contagious. It is immune to many types of antibiotics. There were 15 of us residents put on death row. Because I had lupus and I had been infected by MRSA, I was in a lot of pain. The slightest touch to my body made me cry out. I was sent to the hospital for a few days, but I returned to the nursing home in the same condition. And I was put back on death row. The state of Illinois Department of Health had a doctor from Africa who so happened to be in the USA at that time and who specialized in infectious disease. They had him to come to the facility and treat me there and give me personal care. During that time, the doctors placed a PICC line in my arm so that they can run all kinds of IVs and bacteria through that PICC line. And they did it twice. The skin on my arms was so thin that the PICC line came out both times that they put it in there. There was 15 of us on death row with MRSA. I know for myself that 8 of us died. What happened to the others? I have no idea. It was a long road to recovery, and by the fall of 2008, God had healed me from MRSA. That was a miracle. I had gained at least 15 pounds, but I still had a feeding tube. I began to feel better and to come back. My lower body began to wiggle, and I could wiggle my toes. My strength in my arms was coming back, and I could roll myself over. By the winter season of 2008, I began to pull myself up in my bed and my wheelchair, moving my legs, and more strength had come in my hands and arms, and I was feeling much better and could do a lot more for myself. That was a miracle. Moving forward to 2009, my health improved, and I was elected president of the Residence Council at the nursing home, and I started a Bible class and became an active resident. That was a miracle. In April of 2009, I was released from the nursing home to return home. But during those 17 months that I was in the nursing home, I had lost my house, I had lost my job, and I was put on permanent medical leave from my school. But I still was thankful and grateful to God. He had brought me a long way. He had delivered me from dialysis, from hospice, from MRSA, and off death row, and everything else that went wrong during that stay. In 2010, I applied to be reinstated into my school. They denied me because they thought that my cognitive thinking skills wasn't good enough anymore to complete the doctorate degree program. They offered me a chance to write a 5,000-word research paper and write a statement on why I wanted to return to school. And after that, they would make their final decision. After 2 months, they made their final decision, and they allowed me to return to school. Within 2 weeks, I was reinstated into my courses. And in 2014. In 2012, I completed all my courses. I took my comprehensive exam on the first time I passed. In 2014, I completed writing my dissertation and was approved, and I participated in commencement. In February of 2015, I defended my dissertation, and my educational journey for my doctorate degree was completed. From the time I was released from the nursing home in 2010 until 2018, last year, every year I spent at least 2 hospital stays, more than 5 days in the hospital. But I'm grateful and I'm thankful, and I wake up every morning with a thankful and grateful heart that I've seen another day. I just want to let you all know that lupus is a cruel mystery because it is hidden from view and undefined. It has a range of symptoms which strikes without warning. No one calls, and it has no known cure. Its health effects can range from a skin rash to a heart attack. It's a daily struggle for me. This morning I woke up, I was in a lot of pain, but I pressed my way to get here. I was a little late, because I was dressing a little jet, but I got here. It's a lot of pain of being sick on the inside. I may not look sick, and people with lupus, they don't look sick. But we're sick on the inside on a daily basis with pain every day. We may look fine on the outside, but we're not on the inside. And I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. When I wake up in the morning, I may not can get up out of my bed. But I have strong faith in God, and I believe in the power of prayer. And I just want to let you know, if you know someone that has lupus, or ever meet someone that has lupus, give them a hug. Because you don't know how they're feeling that day. They may be smiling, but they may be in a lot of pain. We're in the Christmas season, and a lot of people with lupus, they get depressed, and people with other diseases get depressed. This is the most joyous time of the year. Every morning we get up, we should be thankful that we've seen another day. I want to thank you for listening to my seasons with living with lupus. I want to thank Still I Rise organization for inviting me today to tell my story. I'm glad I'm here to tell my story and to tell you my story. This is the first time I've ever talked about my disease to anyone. Because I don't like talking about my disease because I don't like pity parties. If you see me crying, they're tears of joy and not of pain. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and may the blessings of the Lord be with you and your family members in the new year of 2020. But I have one more question. If you believe in miracles, clap your hands as loud as you can. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Brack, for that powerful, powerful testimony. Can we give her another round of applause? I've learned so much about lupus today, things that I did not know, I did not realize, and I'm so grateful for such a story of overcoming. Can you imagine 17 months in a nursing facility, lose your house, your job, dismissed from your schooling, and then to come back and make a comeback and to stand before us today as Dr. Naomii Brack. Thank you so much. So inspirational. Well, we are coming to a time of raffles again. So I need my lovely ladies to come down and assist us as we draw some more names. And I really hope you've been participating in these raffle, purchasing your raffle tickets to support the Still I Rise organization. They're doing wonderful things in our community, whether it is financial literacy, whether it is resume writing, basic business and workplace skills, events like today. These things could not be possible without the generosity of folks like yourselves, without the generosity of our sponsors. So I hope you're participating in the raffle because, again, you won't win if you don't participate. All right, ladies, let's draw a name. Cedric Lewis. This one is for the Kankakee Community College variety basket, $60 value. Congratulations, sir. Thank you for participating, and thank you for being here. Who else do we have? This one will be for a $5 coupon for the Olive Garden, $5 off. So, ladies, who do we have? You're not supposed to look when you're picking them. Take it away.
Christopher Wilson.
Christopher Wilson?
Again.
Oh, wait. Is that the right name? Oh, okay. Williams. Christopher Williams. It's you. Yeah. Come on down. Okay. You want trouble? This one will be for Classic Cinemas. Again, Classic Cinemas, the Meadow View North, Paramount Theater. And we have here Wayne Mason. Where are you at, Wayne? All right. Congratulations. You have 3 movie passes to the Classic Cinemas. We've got an Olive Garden. This is for free kids meal. There's coupons for free kids meal.
Well, no one thing, we want to get that salad. We can go ahead and get the you both.
Charlotte Williams.
Right.
I think
That's me, thank you.
it's okay. Congratulations. Okay, so we've got dinner for 2 at the Coyote Canyon. Dinner for 2 at the Coyote Canyon. Buffet.
Somebody.
Dr. Naomii Brack. You are the winner of the Coyote Canyon. Thank you very much. Can we give our ladies a round of applause? I think they're doing a wonderful job with those raffles, so thank you very much. All right. At this time, I would like to introduce someone who has been a staple in our community for many years. This individual is a phenomenal doctor. He's an individual who's committed his expertise, his leadership, his experience and knowledge to many of us across the years. This individual has supported Still I Rise and has participated in this Healthy for the Holidays event since the very first one 6 years ago. He has been the recipient of many professional awards and accolades over his career and has also served as a trustee of the Illinois State Medical Society. Most of you have probably guessed who I'm going to introduce next, but without further ado, I would like to bring to the stage and introduce to some, probably very few, but certainly present to most, Dr. Rodney Alford. Please give him a warm welcome as he comes.
I don't know about y'all, but I was looking around to find out who he was talking about. You all are so blessed today. I'm just telling you, you are blessed to be here today to hear this talk. Not because I put it together, but because this talk will change your life. Can you all hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay. I don't know if I was projecting enough or not. So if you want to come a little bit closer, I would really appreciate it. You all know that if there was a man that had 8 teeth in his mouth, wouldn't it look better if all of them was kind of toward the front? I'm just saying. So if you all want to come a little bit closer, I would appreciate it. I like to know who I'm talking to, see who I'm talking to, so I can see that you get what I'm talking about.
Plenty of room up here.
I read a book recently called The Big Five. 5 simple things you can do to live a longer, healthier life. And it was written by a very famous doctor. His name is Dr. Sanjeev Chopra. Very famous doctor in our area. He's one of the doctors that we all look up to. Great thinker, great mind. He's been around for well over 40 years, teaching medical students, teaching residents, teaching us a lot of the very deep stuff about medicine. And sometimes it's deeper than you all can even imagine, some of the stuff that he talks about. But I came to the realization that it was important for me to impart some of this great knowledge that he gave to us as physicians. Recently in Chicago, there was a huge conglomeration of physicians. There were probably over 3,000 physicians coming to this presentation. And he did this presentation, not quite like I'm going to do it, but he did the same kind of presentation, getting this information to those doctors, and all of us were blown away. So that's why I'm telling you, you are blessed today to hear this information, because this is stuff that many doctors don't know. This is stuff this is the stuff right off the shelf. Okay, you all are getting this kind of information. It's exciting stuff. But some of it is just kind of, well, yeah, okay, of course. But some of the information that I'm going to give you has been researched for years and years and years, using thousands and thousands of people to do these studies. So the information is all fact. This is not opinion. This is all factual information. So hold on to your hat. If you have children that are a little uncomfortable and don't really want to listen and prefer to make noise, let them be outside, because there are some people here that I know want to hear this information. So I'm encouraging you to listen closely, because you're in for a treat. See if I can work this right. Yeah. Here we go. Now I'm moving too fast. Okay. It's doing all kinds of fun stuff. Okay. Technology doing stuff here.